A pleasant Thursday morning to you. Welcome once again to Untengle on the Bridge 99 FM. A very special morning to you, Richie B, and the Up and Go crew. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. A very special morning to our listeners. You know, we're all here because of you. Thank you very much for joining us on the Bridge 99 FM. And, of course, a very special morning to the Untengle team. What a bless of every sound man who love play that Chiquitita song here. So it's now 15 minutes after 11 o'clock. We're just about ready to have our interview right now. Remember, we're going to be having a conversation with actor Michael Nicholson. Oh, Chiquitita, Chiquitita. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Elise. How are you?
I am very well, thanks. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. And you want an exclusive right now?
What?
I'm going to set the record straight.
What?
The Chiquitita argument.
Yes. Make we talk about Chiquitita.
Yeah, I was a young production officer at the time at the JCDC, working with Tony Lang and them people who were my mentors as we did that particular festival song show.
It's what year it was?
I think it was in the 90s, 19 something. I don't remember when it was, but the song that won that year
Yes.
was Dema Palut.
Oh.
Dema Palut, the place. So it was between, oh gosh, I can't remember him the name. Dema Palut, the place with all of them waste when I want. Oh gosh.
Remember the tune, man.
Right, so that was the song that was the contender.
Okay.
So everybody was wondering, out of the two, which one going to carry? Is it going to be back to the mentor style and thing, or is it going to go with the new sound of this Chiquitita sound? So it was neck and neck between the two of them.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is there was an agency that had also wanted people to be aware of the environment and to clean up the environment and to keep things clean.
Okay.
So there was also a prize for the best environmental song. So Dema Palut was the best environmental song at the time. Okay. So when Chiquitita came on, because all the DJs admitted that one of the problems we had with festival song, we couldn't mix the tune them when they happened. Right? Chiquitita became one of those songs you could actually mix during a session.
Right.
Chiquitita could mix into any reggae song, but all the other mentor type beats and festival songs, they couldn't do that. You could just run them one after the other. Finally, a song came you could mix. But that year, it was neck and neck between Chiquitita, Snowball Brown at the time, his name was, and oh gosh, what the man name?
Oh, so may have some writers, but me not see him name. If you could have tell me what year it was, that would have helped me find it.
Yes, no, the Dema Palut, if you find the year that Dema Palut, the place, had won.
Oh, it's 1994.
Right.
So that was Stanley and the astronauts.
Stanley, right. So
yes.
Stanley had done Dema Palut. So
right.
It was neck and neck between the two that year.
Right.
So as it turns out, they went ahead and everybody was saying, boy, is it going to be Chiquitita? Is it going to be Stanley? And at the end of the day, neck and neck, right down to the wire, it turned out that Dema Palut was the song that ended up being selected as the festival song that year. But Chiquitita
was the people's song.
Right beside it.
No, but the people's song. Because can I tell you something? I tell you something, Michael. A lot of us were trying to remember what was the song for that year, because everybody just remember Chiquitita.
No, man, it's Dema Palut.
It's Dema Palut, right.
That's Stanley and the astronaut.
It was Stanley and the astronaut.
Stanley, yeah.
But can I tell you something? Well, I tell you, because we've been running down these festival songs. We've been having a ball on and off the air, and we can't find that common thread that ties all these songs together.
Yes.
Because it's different genres, different moods, different subjects.
That's everything, exactly.
What do you think is a thread that ties it all together?
I think it's the song at the end of the day that makes Jamaican people jump and dance and celebrate the fact that we're an independent nation. That's the song that does it. So I think the overall anthem for independence will forever be Until Them Find Another One. This is the land of my birth.
Right? My favorite song.
That same artist gave you Cherry O Baby.
Exactly.
Which had nothing to do with Jamaica.
Nothing to do with festival.
Went all over the world and people are rocking to it and dancing to it everywhere.
But Michael, isn't that one of our most popular festival songs, Cherry O Baby?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And then after that came This Is the Land of My Birth, which I think now has held the record as the most, that's the theme for independence. Every year they mention independence. you hear the horns and you hear, this is the land. And you know, yes, it's Independence time now. We're about to celebrate. So,
Right.
that's the
Right.
gimmicky. But I
Right.
just wanted to put that out there so people know that that was what was happening that particular. Everybody was carrying it. Every radio station. Is it going to be Stanley? Is it going to be Snowball Brown? It could be anybody's song. But I think that song, if it had won, would have changed how we view festival song to now. It would have
Right.
been a change in the whole landscape of
Right.
festival song as we know it.
Right.
Yes,
Because
Mr. So, I may not take it back.
no, look here, but what you know, you came in at a perfect time because you came in right when the Chiquitita song of play and you could put your
Yeah, no?
perspective on it. Absolutely. But then you remember that Roy Ryan came with the revival thing and then it was popular like the
Yes.
way they one at a time too, you know.
Right, there you go. So that became another genre and another style because everybody now was jumping up with give thanks and praises, and every song now was that kind of. Because you remember now, the style that won the year before, whoever's coming back the next year is coming back with that style because that's now
Yes.
the tune and the ear that people are now used to and want to hear.
Yes, yes.
So that always happened.
But can I say something though, Michael? That Roy Ryan time with the revival
Look
tune
here.
them, it was really stirring up the country, you know, man.
Yes, and it was him and Eric now who were neck and neck, same way. So just like it was Stanley and Snowball, it was Eric and Roy now, as which of the two now when them come with them tune was going to be the baddest one and the one that would end up winning. So that was how it was, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, let us talk about Michael Nicholson now because that's a gentleman who telling us all about festival song. So let us talk about you now. So you are an actor, and for those who are watching us on the bridge monitor, when you see that face right away, you know exactly which you're associated with Royal Palm. Right.
That's
So,
true.
okay, but let us go before Royal Palm. Let's just start before that. Tell us a little bit about Michael when him in a short khaki pants, back, way back.
Well, and I've actually wore short khaki pants. I was a youngster at Savlamar Primary School, and after that went on to Godfrey Stewart, which was renamed the Godfrey Stewart High School, but at the time it was South Secondary. So while there, I became a festival baby. I'd enter festival, I'd enter music, speech, drama, and I would win. I would enter. I started out winning bronze medals, and I started to win gold, and it just went on from there till I became a name now. So when I came to Kingston for national finals, it was, see that boy there, and Nicholson, that France, in bad, you watch out for him. So it became that kind of thing. And then later on, when I graduated, it was a case of either going to Michael or Edna Manley College, or at the time, it was the Jamaica National School of Drama. And I opted for both, passed for Michael, but also took the audition for the National School of Drama and passed for that too. And I told my parents, hey, look, I'm going to drama school. So their reaction was, you sure you want to do that? I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's my passion.
Yes.
So I went there, and after being there and doing the course in acting, theater arts, and drama in education, I had to make a choice as to whether to become an actor or a director. So my sister, who was a major influence, Mrs. Barbara Gilmore, said, look, Mike, make up your mind what you want to do. Do you want to do acting? Everybody's an actor. Why don't you take on directing? I said, you know something, that's true. There are not many directors around. Let me take on directing. So I actually graduated as a director as opposed to an actor because I could do it well.
That course was
But
a teaching course?
yes,
Okay, yes.
yes. And drama and education is also a teaching course because it trained you how to teach literature, English language, and drama all at the same time.
Right.
Those were the days of Dennis Scott and Mark Gifford.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the level of training that we got there, it was transformational.
I remember.
I even had the privilege of doing a summer course at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, and I was bored because it was the same exact thing that we were doing at drama school. So it never took me any further any way back except to say, okay, I did a course there and that was it. So
look
for
here,
me,
Michael.
I had already known.
I don't cut you, although I cut you. But for those who don't know Dennis Scott, oh my God, tell them a little bit about who Dennis Scott was.
Dennis Scott was the director of the drama school at the time. He was a director. He was a writer. He was a poet. The building was named after him, the Dennis Scott Studio. But he was a man and he was a dancer too.
Yes.
The man was huge, 6 foot hard and chest about 5 feet wide. But
light on his feet.
Light on his feet. And I mean, he had the kind of face and eyes that if you messed up, you knew you had messed up. Like he just have to look at you, you just want to sink into the ground. But he honed you, he trained you to make sure that as an actor, you could go into your emotional memory. You could be ready for anything at the end of the day. If you came out of the Edna Manley College like how you went in something wrong,
True.
when you come out of Edna Manley, you came out as that transformed, that different person because of all that you've learned and all that you subsequently are able to impart on your students.
Yes. I remember this word so clearly from people like Dennis Scott. Emote.
Yes, yes. Yes.
But going back to you though, Michael, you know, you put your voice a certain way a while ago. And I actually remember you as a comedian. You did have one Westmoreland voice there when you come a town there.
Yeah.
And you see once you start that, everybody crack up. So tell us about Michael the comedian.
True. Well, I the whole thing, I didn't realize that I could do it. And up to this point, I don't trust myself to actually attempt to do that because I don't think I'm very good at it. Give me a script and I'm fine. But attempting to say, give joke just so, I can't. So many people see me on the road and go, oh, see the comedian? I said, no, I'm an actor because I admire the people like Johnny and them who do it, IT and Fancy Cat them. I cannot go up on stage with a mic in my hand and just start reeling off jokes one after the other.
Yeah.
Right? And because it's a special kind of skill that I don't think I've honed yet. So with all the antics that I went on with in Royal Palm Estate, I have to thank writer Lenny Littlewhite and all his other co-writers there, Cheryl Rhyme and all of these people who helped with the writing. They were the ones who created that character and made me come out as silly as I looked back in the day when I did that show.
All right, but you did more acting more than directing though.
Well, as it turned out, there was a balance between the two because by the time after finishing pantomime, which I did 11 of them, right, the famous Aston Cook, God rest his soul, said, look, Mike, I want you to direct a play for me. So I directed the stage version of Front Room. There's a video version out there from a long time, but he asked me to do the stage version, which was at the Barn Theatre. Well, we captured so much of that show on stage that we even had the dried orange peel on the line. We had actress Dorothy Cunningham kneading dumplings.
My goodness.
We had other actresses catching water. So we literally had a pipe that was feeding water to a bucket while they're doing a scene. And people are watching them talk and watching the bucket and wondering if the bucket going to overflow while the two people having a conversation. So the minute that happened, all of a sudden people can say, what weird? Mikey can direct for true. So after that, I was working with Dorothy Cunningham Productions. I was working for Carl Hart Productions. I was doing stuff for the Pantry Theatre. So literally, at one point, I had 3 plays running simultaneously in Jamaica and acting in a 4th one. So that was the levels to which the work had gotten back in the late 90s, coming to 2000. So it was really a good time. And then the icing on the cake was when I was recruited to work with Stages Productions with the whole Shabada franchise. And then a whole nother thing took off from there because now I had the privilege, after seeing Bashment Granny 1, they decided to do Bashment Granny 2. They called in Volia Johnson and Dion Silvera as 2 of the commercial actors to be a part of that. And then but they need a commercial director to pull them together. And then I was called in, and then the rest, as they say, is history, because that was, to date, that was their biggest hit. They performed literally around the world and burst all box offices. No play in Jamaica has made the kind of money or drew the kind of crowd that Bashment Granny 2 did at the time.
Exciting.
And I had directed that.
You say a commercial director. Tell us what that means. For those listening, tell us what a commercial director is and why he was so needed as things changed.
Well, as it turned out in theatre, there was this argument about roots theatre and commercial theatre. So in layman's terms, we would be considered the Broadway of theatre, and those who did roots were considered those who worked on the fringe or on the side. So they didn't draw the mainline crowd that commercial theatre did, because all of these people were people that people knew. They had a name, they had a face, that kind of thing.
Right.
So for some strange reason, they came up with this argument called roots theatre. I don't believe in it, because as far as I'm concerned, what we do is Jamaican theatre. Because if we're going to get technical about roots theatre, we could call the national pantomime a roots play because it is of the Jamaican people. It is the Jamaican story. A lot of our commercial plays were other people's stories that we might have Jamaicanized or we might have done as is instead of writing our own work. So they became commercial plays. So that basically was the difference between the two.
Okay. I remember that Roots Theatre era. And the gentleman who was well known for his Roots plays. I don't, probably you can remember his
Paul
name.
Beale or Bunny Allen.
I don't know if
Oh, Ralph Holness.
That's the one.
Ralph Holness.
Ralph Holness. That's the one. All right. So let's fast forward now to 2022. And you are now working again with the JCDC, this time as consultant for the Jamaica Festival Queen Competition. How does it feel going back to after how long?
It was about 5 years.
Okay.
Because they came up, the government came up with something called SERP, Special Early Retirement Program, where if you're at a certain age, you could leave and take early retirement and take a little something with you and go. And I thought, well, if that's gonna happen, why stay? I mean, after you've done royal visits, you've done state visits, you've done an Obama coming into Jamaica, you've done all these various productions and things. What other world is there to conquer? Who can come into the world right now or come visit Jamaica who anybody really want to see anyway? So I thought, yeah, I've been there, done that. Let's go. So I did. I as some people say, I took the money and ran. so later on, I was called to come in to do the Festival Queen show. It was the Jamaica 60 Diamond Jubilee. They wanted a whole new concept. They wanted a whole new look. And I thought, okay, I can go in there with fresh eyes, with a fresh lens, and see what we can do to make that happen. And on August 1, with the team that I had with me, we did it. So I was very happy with that. And we had an awesome set of contestants from across the country. And I was lucky enough to go to most of the parishes and see the crowning of them, watch them grow to the point where they came into Kingston and, of course, perform for the 2 weeks that they were here. And they did exceptional. I mean, it was way beyond what I had expected. I was very, very happy with that.
What are you expecting? What do you expect of a national festival queen?
Well, the National Festival Queen should have some level of community development, should be very intelligent, should be able to field and handle questions that come from anyone. They should be leaders in their community and, of course, uplift their youth or youth of their age or even younger. They should also have a national project ready that in the event, once they go back into their respective parishes, they would start that national project, and that project would have some element in there that would uplift their community and uplift the youth in particular, so that we can have that cycle continuing.
And of course, they have to be talented in some way.
Oh, definitely. Talent is a must.
But we always seem to underline the point that it is not a beauty contest. And although I get that, it is hard not to overlook the fact that we are such beautiful people, that the contestants are always beautiful.
Yes. And they are generally. So this year, that argument never came up. So I think that's the first time I've heard it where you've actually said it in your interview, but we've almost eliminated that argument from anyone saying, oh, it's not a beauty contest. And I have not even used the term because they are beautiful inside and out.
Absolutely.
And absolutely wonderful work.
Absolutely. I'm happy that you've eliminated that because it's almost as though it's not a real thing,
Yes.
you know? Right? Yeah. All right.
And we actually had a group of ladies the other night who came to see the show, and I could see from the look on their faces that they were totally bowled over by what they saw on stage, right? The level of the production, what these ladies did on stage is like, wow, are we able to be at that level? Because these ladies have totally raised the bar for all competitions across the country.
Absolutely beautiful. So we're celebrating 60. What have you got to say? You're celebrating 60 and you celebrating 60. When you look at the fact, say, you're born same time as Jamaica, what comes to you? How you feel? What you're remembering?
Well, a lot of it, I'm not remembering what happened then or what the feeling was. I still have the mugs and the cups that one received. I didn't know what they were at the time.
Enamel.
I think I broke one. So there's one that is glued up somewhere in the pantry there now. Right. So I think I broke a saucer. at one point, and I think that sauce has been glued up by my mom, right? God bless her, and it's still somewhere in the house. But for me, that sense of nationalism and pride and thing, I didn't know what that meant, and it didn't happen until later on when I started entering festival and going to at school and starting to celebrate independence and being part of the street parade, being part of what happens in the stage shows, and then performing with the Hatfield Folk and Cultural Group, which is where I started my performance even before I went to drama school, is when I understood, wow, here is a sense of what it's like to be Jamaican. Here's a sense of patriotism. Here's a sense of service to country. And I just wanted to continue it. I just wanted to do more. When I saw people like Barry Johnson, the late Trevor Nairn, walk into a workshop and start to teach you about drama, start to teach you about theater and speak, you suddenly, I want to be like them. I want to do that too. And here I am.
Yes.
So there have been major influences in my life.
You know, as
Along with
someone,
people like Bert Rose. Yes.
yes, as someone who is just about in your age group, when I look back at the festivities that were happening just when me did born or when me
Yes.
did young, I am excited because it tells me that this is the influence. This is my influence. This is what
Yes.
influenced my existence. What a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. I mean, when I first saw my first float, when I saw trucks, it was huge. It was big. It was, I mean, it's like, wow. I could hardly scarce not take it in, as the hymn says, because it was just so much. I'm going, how? And then in my head, there's a little thing in my head now, that little voice saying, so how can I be part of this? I want in on this. I want a piece of this. It was
Yes.
the spectacle, everything.
Yes.
And this was in the
Yes.
parishes, not even per se Kingston per se, because I grew up in Westmoreland as opposed, I came to Kingston much later on. And then getting into art and being a part of it, even as a young teacher, I had a group from Arden who we actually trained and was a performing group at Grand Gala. Later on, we went in with Sending the Clowns with Pierre Lemire and the Kid Stuff group.
Pierre.
So we've actually been on the field, to be on that field on Grand Gala and to be a part of it, and then moving on now to working with the Tony Lengs and all of that, and now being stage management of a Grand Gala and seeing how the inner workings go, how it starts from start to finish.
You've done
and
the
then
rounds.
graduating to the FOC. Right, there's a place called the VOC, which is the venue operation center. When you get to that level, you know, you have, that's the pinnacle right there.
Yeah.
That is where it's the whole nerve centers where everything happens. So you name it, I've done it. And it's all because of that one memory as a child, or these memories as a child, watching this thing happen.
Yes, Michael. As we interact with the younger people, the younger generations, I find it to be such an honor to be able to share with these youngsters what it was like in the early 70s, in the late 70s, what we used to do. And although we know it's not going to come back exactly as it was then, because things change, I'm sure you have experienced this, that our younger friends sit in awe as we tell them our experiences.
Yes, it's true. And even on the first, when I saw the float parade, which we hadn't done since 2010, I think it was the last time we actually had a float parade on the road. The reaction to people, and I was like, wow, this is bigger than Carnival. This is huge. I said, but we've always been doing it. We've always done it. This is not new to us, but I guess with the pandemic and everything else happening, right, we might have missed a couple of years, but this is the thing that we've always needed. And I'm glad that the government came up with the idea of doing it on August 1 as opposed to August 6, so that at least now, with all the mass and crowd that has followed the flows, we would not have a whole confusion happening in the stadium. Now, people going to the stadium can take them time and go without having to follow a huge flow to try and get in to a stadium that people are already in and can't get in. So I'm glad that this change was made.
Boy, Michael, we talk way over time, but look here now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, me don't sorry. Me don't sorry. We had to say this. Unfortunately, we don't have time to discuss what is the question that a lot of people have been asking. How could we have gotten such a unified front with all of us wearing the same thing, if it's polka dot, all of us knowing the songs, when there was no social media? There was no
Yeah.
smartphone. Is one little phone catch up at the edge of one, if you're lucky, catch up at the end of the, and with all of that, you know what I say to these young people? We were not digitally connected, but we were
No.
connected to each other.
Yes, yes. That was it. It was the village. It wasn't just the city, it was the village that was out there doing them thing. And of course, with the two radio stations at the time, you had no choice but to listen to it and cling on everything that happened with the one TV station. So the minute a Stanley or somebody came out, or a Chiquitita, that was it. We jumped on it like it was nobody's business. Right. So we understood that totally.
Great talking to you. And I just want to ask you, my pleasure. One last word, Michael. Just one word to Jamaica as we celebrate our 60th.
What I'd just like to say, one love Jamaica. Happy birthday. I think I've said more than one, but just enjoy and be grateful and give thanks that we've lived to see it again, and that our country can only get better and better. We can't get worse. We can only get better. And this is our reignition now. This is our kickstart. Let's do it and let's enjoy.
All right, wonderful. And continue to celebrate your 60th.
Thank you so much. Will do.
All right, wonderful. So that's Michael Nicholson, actor, very popular actor. We've seen him on so many, movies and productions, and it's a wonderful thing to talk to Michael as he not just celebrates Jamaica's 60th, but he celebrates his own 60th. And wonderful. Have a great celebration of Jamaica and of yourself. We're going to take a break. We soon come. Good afternoon, Beauregard.
Kelly, greetings. How are you today?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm trying to get over this heat, just hanging in there. It's very hot in the tri-state area, Mama Kelly. 91 degrees and burning up.
Look here. It's hot, yes, too. Very, very hot.
Some at ear.
Yeah, man. Some at ear. Yes, no, trust me. Whoever I tell you, I hope them tell you how we are put up down here. Yeah, man. All at night time. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Terrible.
What do you do to stay cool? What do you do for stay cool, Mama Kelly?
Look at it, my friend, them not stop laughing for me because I have a big fire blow up on me, boy. Watch this, no. Beauregard, me resist the AC. Me have AC in the setup, but I have resisted it for so long because I cannot afford it. But because it's expensive, But look here, no, me say that a day, me look pan the fan, and my fan is very big, I'm big fan. One of them, very big. And me stand up in front of it and me say, where you for? where are you for? me say, all the blow the blow.
Beer at here.
Oh, you use no fan.
Nah, serve no purpose,
not
Mama Kelly.
Not purpose it does serve.
Better you just go and sing in front of it.
One big black microphone to every turn. But hey, by the way, look here.
Wow.
No, but better me go and sing in front of you. So you have some things for say more time when me can't manage, You know we couldn't come out of my mind the whole says Jamaica Isochar. Let me tell you something, me Bridget. Me say every time me remember say you say Jamaica Isochar, me say a left field where that come from? A left field that come from,
Well, we celebrate Jamaica birthday in August, so
Jamaica Leo. me say when you look at Addis face now, because Addis don't never kind of know, what you expect. Addis is like, Mama, him.
Addis, we're going deep,
Yeah, you remember when we said, why? No, because he might try to get over the Leo as a Jamaica lion. But you see, when you start Isochar, Addis Depot, him gone deep, Oh my God.
Oh man. You know them say about first impression, Mama Kelly. You leave a good one. Yeah,
I hope so. I sincerely hope it was a good one.
Yeah, man. Speaking of birthdays, today we celebrate the birthday of former President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Okay.
He's 61. Yeah, he's 61 years old today. So happy birthday going out to him. And also to Irie Jam Radio's own president, Prezi Bashment. Yeah, we call him Prezi Bashment. That's his DJ name, Prezi Bashment. So Irie Jam's president.
Okay.
He's celebrating a birthday today.
I don't know Prezi Bashment, do I?
He is one of the engineers here and slash producers here at Irie Jam Radio. One of the people behind the scenes who make things work here at Irie Jam. So
okay, happy
birthday to him.
All right. So, our guest is here, Justine. And you know, for those who don't know, we're celebrating 50 years of The Harder They Come. And there is a remix of one of the songs from The Harder They Come. Justine wanted me to listen to it, and I've listened to it. But what I want to do, and I'll just ask Justine to, I will have Beauregard listen to it and tell me his opinion, because she got mine, right? So I want you to listen during the interview. We do that, right? So we'll have you listen to it. And what I didn't realize is that it was Naomi Cowan who did the remix. So Justine was just telling me a while ago. So we're going to listen to it. Wow. We're going to analyze it. May I tell you? Them young people are going good.
That's a good look.
That's a very good look. All right, so
she's been doing well. You know, Naomi Cowan has been doing well. She's been putting out some wonderful songs, wonderful music. I have a couple of new songs here that I haven't played from her yet. So, you know, hopefully I'll get to them sooner than later.
Yes, she really does have some nice songs. So what else happening your side apart from the heat?
Other than the heat, monkeypox is a thing here in the tri-state area, especially in New York City. As of Monday, there were about 1,500 cases here in New York City, and the mayor had declared a state of emergency. Now, most of these cases, they're saying anyone can get it, but the current cases are currently being spread through intimate contact. And most of the cases occur among gay and bisexual men. So that is the situation with monkeypox right now.
But it's not sexually, it's not a sexually transmitted disease, is it? You can
that
get
is
it.
what they're saying right
oh,
now.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what they're saying right now.
Okay.
So, you know, and they're saying there are other ways in which you could get it, you know, by maybe just simply touching someone, the shaking of the hand, you know, something we do so nonchalantly most of the times, and, you know, not pay attention to that. You know, we have to start boom off some fist on. Even the peace sign, Mama Kelly, you know, I go on, you know, you're here. Keep it moving.
I don't take it personal, but I'm going to boom off your face.
I'll keep it jiggy.
Them things can be very embarrassing, you know, but look, you know, sometimes you have to put on shame and pride, you know, because, I mean, really, because exchange of fluids, usually things that are sexually transmitted. Exchanges of fluid can also be one way to transmit it. Virgin, me don't want you feel no way, but Beauregard say me fi boom off your face. It's not me says so. Beauregard say me fi boom off your face. Okay? So
just taking some safety measures and to you know them say prevention better than cure, Mama Kelly. And
yes, indeed.
You really and truly have to be careful and responsible.
But can I tell you something though? I'm not happy at all that there's such a thing as monkeypox. But what you know, at least we can stay away from it based on how it is contracted. You know what I mean? I can stay away from it based on how it's contracted. Good to hear. I'm happy to know that. I will definitely be staying away from it.
You know, Mama Kelly, there was another case that we spoke about, and this one involved the basketball player that I told you that was locked up in Russia for the drug possession. Well, her trial is now over, and she was found guilty of drug possession and smuggling in a Russian court outside of Moscow, and she's been sentenced to 9.5 years.
Oh my goodness!
Now they're saying that the true length of her detainment will be determined by negotiations on a prisoner swap between the U.S. and Russia. Something that they had tried to do even before the trial, but they're going to go forward and see if that will work going forward.
9 years?
Yes, depending on the relationship that Russia and the United States has right now. So, you know, it's very unfortunate. It's so sad. And, you know, one of the things that this has brought to my attention, Mama Kelly, is that you have to know where you're going and the type of things that you could bring into these countries.
Exactly.
Because something as, you know, you might think it's a simple thing, but what's, you know, fun to you is dead to other people. And that's how they look at it.
Exactly.
You know?
Because sometimes you're so right. You have to really do your homework, study, go Google, find out the peculiarities about the people, not just weather, but everything else, culture. Laws.
Mm-hmm.
That seems excessive, though.
Yes, it does. Very excessive, and that's why I said might have something to do with the relationship between both countries right now.
Yes. And of course, the news has been out for a while, but the cop boyfriend has been charged with the murder of the social media influencer, and they're on it.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, we knew that was coming, but they're on it, and well,
Sad.
yeah. So that's
Sad.
that.
I feel for the family and the mother, in searching for a child. It's a sad situation.
It's sad because no matter how desperate it seems, as a mother, as family, as loved ones, you're always kind of hoping for the best. But the police are insisting. Mr. Bailey, he spoke to the media, and he is suggesting that although they have not found her body, there is evidence that she has died. So that is just so heartbreaking. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Miss Justine is here early, and we don't want her to stay longer than she needs to. So we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk to Justine. Okay, so I explained to her, Beauregard, that we're both going to be doing this interview, so we just want to bless up all those in the tri-state listening to this interview as we play and speak and reminisce.
Good afternoon, Miss Justine.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Good to have you.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
And for those who don't know who Justine Henzell is, she's actually the daughter of co-writer, producer, director Perry Henzell. So my first question to you would be, what did it feel like growing up as the daughter of Perry Henzell, one, and the fact that he did what he did, the actors around him, directors, that kind of thing? What was that like?
Well, I mean, the thing is, at least when you're young, your world is your world. You don't know anything different. So to me, having a crew of 20, 30 people who are your family, who you see every day, it was just natural, to ride around on a dolly, to go and sit in an editing room, to smell the celluloid, because in those days it was actual film. That didn't seem strange to me at all. It was what I was born into. So I'm very comfortable on set because it's what I know.
I understand that. Beauregard?
Speaking about being comfortable on set,
You're low, Beauregard. Your voice low. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Speaking about being comfortable on set, did you ever take the opportunity to get in front of the camera?
No. Much more comfortable behind the camera.
Beauregard, Justine don't even want to be here.
when they told me that this was actually video being streamed as well as radio, I was like, Lord, Sister Elise, how you did that to me? No, my happy place is behind the camera.
Okay, all right. I understand that. In fact, can I tell you something? A lot of people who are part of the production team and insisting on how you must look and what you must do before the camera, turn the camera upon them.
It's true. It's so true.
Show me what I must do.
Exactly. Yes, we like to direct.
Yes. Right, for real. All right. So, you remained in that space, and you eventually became yourself an independent producer. What does that mean?
So basically, I do my own work, which is documentary, and I have produced 2 feature-length documentaries on Jamaican history and culture, which I'm very happy to be able to have had the opportunity to do. There are lots of documentaries done on Jamaica, Elise, many, but the vast majority are done by foreigners, right? And I'm happy they exist because it's good they exist. They're done mostly on our sport and our music, but they have an external gaze. And it is incredibly important for us to tell our own stories in our own voice, from our own perspective, right? So unfortunately, there are not the funding mechanisms to fund our own documentaries in the way they are. I mean, these people are funded by their governments, by their arts agencies, by their universities to come to Jamaica and do work. So it is my hope that one day we'll be funding ourselves to do this important work, because archiving is important, representation is important, and unless we're telling our own stories, someone will tell our stories for us.
And we might not like how it looks.
Exactly, but
For
then it
real.
becomes the record.
Yes.
Right? Once it
Yes.
is written, once it is on a screen, it becomes a record, and it's very hard to then change people's minds about it.
And perhaps this is one of the reasons why The Harder They Come is so well loved. Because it tells our story from our perspective.
Exactly.
Everybody know Ivan.
Everybody. I mean, you know, my father said at the beginning of the process, he said, am I going to make a movie for Jamaicans or am I going to make it for foreigners? And he made a decision to make it for Jamaicans. He said if nobody outside of Jamaica could listen to it, understand it, appreciate it, no problem. He knew what he wanted to do. But I think that's why it's endured for 50 years.
Yes.
Because before authenticity was a catchphrase, he was doing that. Before reality was what people want, he was doing that. He was capturing actual people's existence. And at the time, I mean, we're talking to some people in the diaspora right now. In the time, 1972, when the film was released in England, a lot of people in the diaspora were not happy about the Jamaica that was depicted in The Harder They Come. They were embarrassed. They were like, how can you show the poverty to the rest of the world? It was like a dirty secret. And my father was, no, this is our reality, and we are beautiful in the midst of all of this. We have to show our complexity. We are not just, you know, a beach and palm trees. We are people who are difficult. We are people who are complex, but we are people who are incredibly talented and resilient and ambitious.
Absolutely. And when all is said and done, we're not much different from any other kind of
There you go. And sadly, there is poverty everywhere in the world.
Sadly.
You know?
Yes. Beauregard?
What has the feedback been for the documentaries that you have done, and what are some of the things you have learned about the culture while documenting Jamaica?
I was very blessed that I was able to do the official documentary for Jamaica 50, so hard to believe that's 10 years ago. It was called, or it is called, One People, The Celebration. And the aim of it was to show Jamaica's global reach in our 50th year. So we got funding from private sector organizations, and we sent cameras all over the world, and we requested footage from all over the world, and it was incredible to show Jamaicans excelling in all the fields. You know, again, people think of us as we can sing and run fast. Yes, we can do that, but we can also invent incredible medical technology. We can also be leading actuaries. We can also be the chaplain to the Queen. We can also do all these things that people pay less attention to. And I wanted to show how multi-dimensional we are.
Did your dad direct, co-write any other movie?
He wrote, produced, and directed a second film called No Place Like Home, which was also shot in the 70s, which is completely different to The Harder They Come. And it's kind of a tragic story because the footage got lost for decades, literally decades. And again, we're talking about film, so when you lose the footage, you lose the film. And then through many serendipitous things, the footage was resurfaced in a warehouse in New Jersey. We were able to restore the film a little before he passed in 2006, and we continued to restore the film, and then we re-released it in 2019. So it is available. It's called No Place Like Home. It stars the wonderful Carl Bradshaw.
Ah.
Yes, amazing. Who was Jose, of course, in The Harder They Come. And it is basically a love letter to Jamaica, showing the way that Harder They Come showed urban Jamaica. No Place Like Home travels through the countryside of Jamaica. And it prophesied a lot of the development that was going to happen. And you know, there are good things and bad things about development.
Speaking of good things and bad things, what are some of the pros and cons of being a director?
Oh wow. The pros are you get to tell a story. You get to tell the audience what your vision is. The con is that it costs a lot of money to do that, and you need a lot of help and support. You know, features and narrative, you have to have a great script, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. And it's one of the things I talk about all the time is people say, oh, you know, why aren't we making more film in Jamaica and more content? Yeah, we have so many stories. And I say, absolutely, we have a lot of stories. What we don't have are scripts. And we need to make that leap from story to script. And we need to find a way, again, of funding our writers to be able to sit at home, pay their electricity bill, and write. And it's very challenging to get that funding mechanism.
Talking about having a great script, I remember sitting down once with Jimmy Cliff in an interview, and of course, you're asking all the nice questions, but you just can't wait till you reach the harder they come. So he said, I remember he said that when he was invited to do the role for The Harder They Come, he had just come from a long break in England, and he had a little bit of an English accent, and he was advised to lose it.
Yes, absolutely.
And therefore he got a chance to ad-lib in many of the scenes. Do you suggest this? As we talk about script, there's a script, but isn't there a place for ad-libbing?
Oh, for sure. So when I say a script, I don't mean to be prescriptive necessarily. But you need to know your characters, you need to know the arc. So what Perry would do is he cast mostly non-actors, but he would set up a scene and he'd say, okay, this is what the scene needs to achieve, right? So and then most of the dialogue in The Harder They Come is ad-lib, right? Because he chose the actors for their energy, for their personalities, not for the fact that they were actors. There's a dentist, there's an insurance salesman, Jimmy, who's a singer, and yet he
with
gives
no acting experience.
No acting experience, and he gives one of the most incredible performances. Jimmy Cliff, to me, is just a marvel on the screen. He takes over. His intensity comes shining through that camera.
Absolutely. What was also great about the movie, and I'm sure it works every time, is when we see familiar faces. Because although a lot of the actors were not, professional actors, we had a lot of members of the music industry in the movie. And up to this day, it is perhaps one of the biggest feathers in their cap. because it is, So do you find that helps to sell a movie?
It certainly can, having named people. But in this case, How Did They Come? Nobody apart from Jimmy was really known outside of Jamaica. Jimmy was already an established singer. And most of the songs on The How Did They Come had already been recorded. That soundtrack remains one of the best reggae soundtracks, and in fact one of the best soundtracks. It's usually listed as one of the best soundtracks regardless of genre. And last year it was inducted into the Library of Congress in the US, and it's only the second reggae album to ever have that distinction. And when they give you the citation, it says because it is significant to the culture of the country. The country they're talking about is America. They're not talking about Jamaica.
How that?
Because it's a U.S. Library of Congress.
Oh.
So they have, and their vow is anything that is with the Library of Congress means that they will keep it in a condition, in a vault, so that no matter what happens in future generations, it will be available, right, in some form. I mean, we all know we've gone from vinyl to 8-track, for those of us who know what that is, to cassette, to DVD, and now MP3s, all right?
Right.
So whatever the format will be in the future, they guarantee that you will be able to access this music because it's important to them. That just shows how much we need to treasure what we have.
Absolutely.
And preserve what we have.
Absolutely. It needs to be that important to us.
Yes.
Oh, Boreal?
Indeed. What do you say to young folks or people like myself who sometimes their imagination runs wild and then come up with a little idea or a vision, and they think that this could be a good movie or a good script. What do you say to people who wants to get into the film industry? What advice would you give to them?
I say do it. I say film it on your phone, film a short film, film a 3-minute clip, film a 30-minute clip. Take that idea, distill it into something that you can actually manage and to capture, and then you have what is called a proof of concept. So have the big idea, sure, but if you can't manage to capture the big idea, capture a small piece of it that gives people a sense of what your vision is, of what your ability is, of what the story is, and use that as your calling card. There, we established the Jamaica Film and Television Association, JAFTA, and anybody in Jamaica who is interested in getting into content needs to become a member of JAFTA. Meet every month. It's a community, it's a networking. It's also a way to get apply for the JAFTA Propeller program, which gives funding to make short films. And that is the best way to hone your craft and also to be able to prove to people what you can do.
And does it also prove that it's your intellectual property?
Absolutely, yes. So then, even writing a script proves that it's your intellectual property if you mail it to somebody, if you register it with JIPO, all of these things. It's very important.
Okay. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to share with our listeners a song. This is a song, Beauregard, that I want you to listen to, and I'm sure Justine wants to hear your impression. She'd want everybody to tell her their impression of the song. I tell her mine already, so you can tell her yours when we come back, all right?
Great.
Okay, so that's a song originally sung by Jimmy Cliff, and it's on the How Did They Come original soundtrack recording. Did I tell you who sung it, Beauregard?
Naomi Cohen.
Oh, sorry, I told you. I was going to ask if you can guess.
Yeah, more than I guess it.
You didn't guess it? All right, cool. All right, so what do you think of it?
Mama Kelly, I must say this song, I heard one word being changed in the song, and it's we.
Yes.
We can get it if you really want it, and that totally does a whole lot for the song in terms of, I love the unification.
Well said.
It's just in time for our Diamond Jubilee celebration, Mama Kelly. 60 years. Yeah, man. Pushing Jamaica forward.
You got it. You just so got it. That's the first thing that came to me too. The we and perfect timing, because it's all about us.
Yes.
And Naomi did a very good job. It's not easy to do a makeover of something that Jimmy Cliff has already done.
No, it's not. And she did an excellent job.
She did an excellent job. Absolutely. So you get your
thank you very much. Yeah.
Hats off to you, Miss Henzell. Hats off to you.
It's not me. It's the talented people out there. Walshy Fire did the remix.
Okay.
So Walshy is the producer of the remix. And then Naomi said she wanted to be a part of the project. And if you keep listening, actually Jimmy's voice is there because they sampled it. And then the switch was because of Jamaica 60s, like, we can get it if we really want. Let's all just come together.
That was intentional.
That was intentional. So
nice.
Just that one change made it, as you said, just a little more inclusive. This is of the time. It's a celebration. Again, it speaks to our resilience as a people. It speaks to our determination as a people. We're young, 60 not so old.
Pretty young. Well, I mean.
Yeah. So 60 is still fairly young. We have a long way to go. But we can get it if we really want.
Absolutely.
But we must try.
And
try.
The good thing is that you use somebody of the present generation, because the message has to be passed on to every generation.
Absolutely. And a female voice. I feel that's important as well, right? So we have the young female voice with Naomi, we have the veteran male voice with Jimmy, and I think the combination works really, really well to say we can get it.
Absolutely. So it's 50 years already.
50 years of The Harder They Come, 60 years of Jamaica.
Which means that it was 10 years after our independence that The Harder They Come was produced.
10 years after it was released. It was filmed in the late 60s, and then it made its premiere on June the 5th, 1972 at the Carib Theatre.
Okay, 60 years later, have you seen anything dramatic in terms of or production or film production, anything upward?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that it's easier in terms of the technology to make film. What will never get easier, like I said, is the scripts and the talent that needs to be on the screen. So the technology of capturing the performance, yeah, that's way easier now than it was. But getting a performance, writing a script, those will remain hard and should remain hard. So 50 years later, my whole push for Harder They Come 50 was, how can one great piece of art inspire more great pieces of art? Because the film exists. It's the first. Nobody can ever take that away from it. It's a classic. So yes, I could show the film again, and we have, but I wanted to create new work by talented Jamaicans. And so as a family, we commissioned visual artists, Jamaicans at home and abroad, to create pieces inspired by the film, the poster, or a character in the film. We also asked poets to write a piece of poetry with the same remit. And now Walshy is doing remixes of the music. So we have new literature, new music, and new art from one piece of work.
Excellent idea.
Excellent, wonderful.
And what has come out of it, I mean, I'm just completely in awe of the talent that we have. There is painting, there's sculpture, there's a quilt, there's 3D work, there is animation, there is augmented reality. And all of this is on display at 10A West Kings House Road, right here in Kingston, which is where a lot of the film was actually filmed. That was our family home.
Really?
Yes, that was my father's studio, editing room, and everything. So to bring the exhibition to 10A, which is where the film was birthed, feels really like a full circle. So the exhibition is open Fridays through Sundays from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and we invite the public to come through and see all the incredible work.
So we can just come through?
You can absolutely just come through and see the work, appreciate the talent that we have.
Is it free?
It is right now free. We will take contributions, of course, and there is merchandise for sale. But it is right there at 10 West Kings House Road. There is a big green wall with Jimmy as Ivan painted. You cannot miss it. And we invite everyone to come through.
How has it been going?
Really, really well. People, because they're bringing their children, they're bringing their parents, and it's something that everybody can appreciate. And then you get to tell stories to each other of when you saw the film, or when you didn't see the film, or that artist that you met. So it's really a way for people to talk about our culture, our history, our music, our film, and our art, and our poetry in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
50 years later, and I guess you both can answer this, Miss Henzell and both Mama Kelly. 50 years later, what would you say is your favorite scene from the movie The Harder They Come?
Oh boy. Elise, you want to go first?
No, it's unfair because I love so much of it.
Yeah, it is unfair, but going back to Jimmy and Jimmy's performance in that film, the only song that was new was the title track, The Harder They Come. And that performance of him recording the song in the studio was the actual recording of the song in the studio. And I think that watching Jimmy in that moment, like I said, everything, I mean, the passion is just pouring out of him when he's singing that song, and you cannot help but be swept away by it. And so I have to say, if I had to pick a scene, that would be my scene.
Mine would be the love scenes with the lady and how him, how much Ivan express himself. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
But let me ask you this though, Justine. Filmmakers seem to be of the opinion that there is nothing as great as a good film. No matter how much, we have access to here now with video and that kind of thing. But is film more lasting than some of the other mediums that we're using now?
The celluloid?
Yes.
It depends how it's stored. It's highly flammable. It is very, if it's in a heated environment, it won't last. So it's not a particular, it's stable if it's stored well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nowadays, I mean, you shoot digitally and you can have it on your hard drive and another hard drive in New York and another hard drive in London and multiple things and put it on the cloud. So what happened with my father's second film, No Place Like Home, it's very unlikely that's going to happen with somebody's content if it's digital.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Miss Henzell, what are some of the other works that you have out there that people might have seen and not know it's your work, or you might have been a part of it? Could you just shed some light on that for us?
Well, I'm very fortunate to have just finished doing a series, working on a series for HBO and Channel 4 called Get Millie Black. And that series is going to be 6-part of a first season. And that's written by the Jamaican author Marlon James. And it's really exciting because this first time series that has been written by a Jamaican, set for Jamaica. And I really see that, it's 50 years after the Hard There Come, and now we're breaking new ground again. And that's really exciting. And all of the actors are Jamaican except for 3 of them. And one of those 3 is Jamaican heritage anyway. It's a police drama. We filmed all over Kingston. We filmed for 12 weeks. They were here for 6 months. Huge amount of money pumped into the Kingston economy. A lot of people were hired in front of and behind the camera. So I'm very excited about Get Millie Black, and the world will see it next year. So that's
for
fantastic.
those who want to be a part of any one of your films, who want to be cast in a role, who want to do production, how do they get to do that?
Again, join JAFTA.
Okay.
I really think that if you join JAFTA, you will know what's happening in the film world. You'll make connections. You'll know who the casting agents are. We have great casting agents. Then you'll know to send them your headshot, right? If you're interested in camera, if you're interested in sound, if you're interested in locations, if you want to get in production, join JAFTA. That's what I'd say.
Got you. Final question for you, Beauregard.
Well, I this is not a question, just a comment, Miss Henzell. Just to say thank you for the work that you have done in Jamaica and continue to do, and to highlight the culture. It's a big thing for us, and the platforms that you say is now groundbreaking. Some of the places that we're now going as a country, as we celebrate our 60th. I just want to say thank you for all that you have done for Jamaica.
It is my honor and privilege to serve my island, and onward and upward. Onward and upward.
What are you doing with this CD?
I'm playing it all the
time. Wonderful to see you. You're looking great. I'm sure your dad must be so very proud of yourself and the rest of the family. Overseeing a movie like that is not the easiest thing in the world, I'm sure. But you seem to be having fun.
It's an honor.
Yes.
It's a privilege. It's a blessing. And I stand on his shoulders.
I got you. So, Beauregard, I'm going to be driving behind Justine when we come out, and I'm going to go to the exhibition. If I don't go to the exhibition, Justine is going to kill me. So I'm going to drive behind her. I'm going to go to the exhibition, and then by next Tuesday, I can tell you what I saw, and we can chat about that. All right?
Sounds very good to me, Mama Kelly. Sounds wonderful. I want you to have a wonderful time, Mama Kelly. Do all the things you want to do, enjoy yourself, and we'll talk about it next week.
All right, Beauregard. So bless up your listeners, and it's always a pleasure as we celebrate Jamaica's 60. Have yourself a wonderful celebration on the weekend.
You too. You do the same. Till next week.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. What a wonderful conversation. And for those who have just joined us, we had a wonderful conversation with Justine Henzell, and she is an independent film producer and the overseer of the legacy of the award-winning movie The Harder They Come. They celebrate their 50th. That's The Harder They Come. And there's an exhibition, West Kings House Road. And I'm going to go, as I said, and I'm going to report to you, and I'm sure you're going to be going in your droves, all right? So this is how we say so long. It's now 12:56. Wow. Eh? If what? Yes, let's do that. So let's close with that one, that what the remix of the one of the original soundtrack done by none other than Naomi Cowan, and this one is called Remind Me Again. We can get it if we want.